Hi, everyone. I just wanted to continue on with a little bit more of my introduction and how I got to where I'm at right now. Um, from my previous post, I am a sexual abuse survivor from the Exclusive Brethren, now rebranded the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church. And I came forward with my story almost a year ago. What prompted me out of my cave, so to speak, was a documentary that I found on City TV News here in Canada, and I was shocked to see it. Up until this point, it had been close to 30 years since I had left, and when I left the last city that I lived in, I left all that behind me. We had a lot of stalking happening there, and I just had a baby. We left there when my baby was 6 months old. There was no way I was going to bring that baby up anywhere near them due to the amount of stalking that was happening with myself and my husband. And so when I left behind that city, I was really trying to make a new start and find a new way to leave this all behind me. So for 30 years, I had kept the monkey in its cage, so to speak, and done a lot of therapy. I had this monkey kept peeking its head out and wanting to be dealt with, but it was a horrific thing to deal with. And it was hard to be able to get into really dealing with what happened to me. So this documentary happened to show up, and I was just shocked. I was really shocked at seeing it on TV. And then I started doing a little bit more research and found some audio that had been leaked on somebody who had been hunted down by the Brethren. And I really realized that the landing pad was really being formed for me to finally come forward and really bring out what had happened to me. More so, I was trying to find people that had gone through similar experiences as me. And so I started reaching out to specific people here and there that I knew that I could probably trust and that wouldn't really put out alarm bells. These people are very litigious. They're also very horrifying and possessive in the way that they want to keep things quiet. So I knew for my own safety and my children that, who are adult children now, by the way, but still I needed to be careful with how I did this. So I started just peeking around, sending messages to people here and there. And I found a story that horrified me that dealt with the same perpetrator that is mine that was only about 4 years ago. And this person wasn't even a part of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church. She had worked for a company where this same guy had been at. And I was aware of this company. It was a company that my brother had worked at. And my brother had a lot of daughters. And I reached out trying to figure out how old his daughters would be and if this could potentially be a place that they would be placed at to work at because of him previously working there. And sure enough, they were old enough. And I realized at that moment that I needed to become public. I needed to really do this, not only just for myself, but I really needed to do it for my nieces. And I mean, obviously these are nieces that I don't know. And I think I've met them maybe twice when they were very young. But I needed to really put on those big girl panties and realize, like, Cheryl, you've got to stand up. I couldn't live with myself if one of my nieces showed up on my doorstep a year, 2 years from now with the same story on their body that mine was. I would never have been able to live with myself. So that was really my totem that I used to get through the fear and to get through the courage it takes to come out and put this on display, because it's a lot. And any sexual abuse survivor will tell you the same thing. It takes a lot to come forward and come public with things. So that really was my main reason for coming forward, was for my nieces. And I knew that going through the judicial system, I mean, I did do a police report. I did a police report over 2 days. It was 9 hours I was there. And that takes time. And I knew that I didn't have time. I knew that if I just left this to the judicial system, that there potentially could still be a niece or somebody else showing up on my doorstep, knowing that this man still obviously was doing what he had always done. And this man's dad was the same way. Through all the people that I had started talking to, all the stories that started landing on my lap, I realized that this was obviously a generational and a systemic problem. And I did my first podcast interview with James D. Fiore on Blackballed, and that really set the platform and the first domino to start alerting people of what was going on in that community. From there, I had a ton of people reach out to me that also had sexual abuse happen to them, a lot of different types of abuse that go on inside the Brethren. And I knew that it was time for myself, and there was 3 others. We started a podcast, and we gave people a platform to come on and tell their stories, because I think it's very, very important. I think it's super important that if we're going to do this, and as horrifying and shocking as these stories are, they need to be heard. And I think it's the exposure and the information that is being revealed by these people that is helping us really make some headway. And we've really got a movement started here. And hopefully, my whole point has never been in taking down this cult. It's not. But I want the cult removed out of the church. That's what has to happen. It needs to come back to a mainstream Christian church. They call themselves a mainstream Christian church. They're nowhere near a mainstream Christian church. They're the furthest thing from it. But we need, I have family in there. I have parents in there. I'm the only one out of my siblings. There's 6 siblings. And I have to be able to do things to make it a safe environment in there for them that they can't see. Because when you're in there, you don't realize what's going on. To you, you're born and raised in this, and it is just something that you're used to. So my whole motivation for doing this now is I was given a landing pad to do it. I was given an opportunity to come forward and make sure that this doesn't happen anymore. And we do that by joining together with our voices. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit more of why I'm doing this 30 years later. And I really look forward to informing you all of what happened. Take care. Much love to you all.